Hello and welcome to day 2 of the MACH House. After a fantastic day yesterday, we've got lots and lots of topics to cover, and I'm really excited to have 2 panelists with me today, really looking at why your organization should adopt MACH. I'd like to hand it over to Sarah to introduce herself.
Hey everyone, it's really early in the morning. I'm Sarah. I live in Los Angeles, so it's like 5 a.m. for me. But I run a company called Alloy Automation. We are a iPaaS and embedded iPaaS platform. So what that stands for is Integration Platform as a Service. We've been around for 3 years now, so founded this in 2019 after a stint at Snap, and we're Series A funded by Andreessen Horowitz and Y Combinator.
Jean-François.
So thanks, Andrew. Hi, Sarah. Jean-François Leca, I'm the VP of Global Services at Scaleflex. Scaleflex is a SaaS editor in digital asset management. We are around since 2018. We are specialized in web performance. I mean, anything that's about managing image, video, PDF document. And our digital management is best to enhance efficiency and collaboration.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today. One of the things that when I talk to customers and when I'm sort of in the market talking to partners as well is why should companies adopt MACH? What is the thing that they should be doing? Why should they, before adopting the tech, why should they have a vision? I'll pass it over to Jean-François to kick things off.
So my view and the experience we've got with the customer we talk to is always they need to have a plan. They need to know what they want to achieve. What we realize is not just buying. So when you want to go to MACH, it's not just about buying a solution from supplier A, B, C. It's really creating a concept. So therefore, you need to have KPIs in your mind. You need to understand how you will bring your team together. You need to also understand the different workflow. So when the vision is well established, in general, you can define all the other plan that goes behind, and then you go into this process of implementation. But also it goes with a thoughtful of, I selected my supplier to deliver my project.
Sarah, do you sort of see the same thing with the customers that you're working with? Do you see them as like tech first and they don't have that plan and you're kind of consulting that way?
Yeah, so for us, we focus obviously more on the API side of things. So we work with a bunch of SaaS companies and help them extend their integrations. And obviously, by helping SaaS companies create these open APIs that helps the brands they serve. So we also feel the same where it feels like a lot of SaaS companies, traditionally haven't thought about opening up APIs. So the internal design of their code base and platform just doesn't support developer-friendly APIs. I think obviously, for example, we have folks in the ecosystem like BigCommerce and Shopify where you can check out their docs, it's all out there. But our goal is to help more SaaS companies create these open APIs, integrate with each other, and thereby extend their platforms through integrations.
Nice. So we touched on the tech side of things, and that's, I think, where working with dev teams and CTOs, they understand the power of MACH and the technologies, the different sort of players in the space. But if there's not that vision and they haven't brought the organization along, that change management piece can be really tricky. Jean-François, when you're working with your customers, how do you handle that change management? How do you make sure that the organization is ready for that move?
So the way we see it is when you adopt a MACH solution is really dev focus. So meaning that the buying from the technical team is very easy. They know what to do. They see the API. They see the challenge of playing with the API and building things together. However, most of the time they are delivering for non-technical people. So when you get to the marketer, when you get to someone from the legal team, from, I would say, customer service, they don't have a clue about what the technology is. They even don't care about the name. I have an API that will do point A to point B to deliver your service. So you need to make sure that you bring them on board. You need to explain how easy it will be for them, what will be the change, because most of the time they have a tool that they were using that you will remove from them. So, and change is not natural for many people. So what you do not want and what you want to avoid by any means is creating frustration. So I always say that when you go to a MACH implementation, you need to think both sides. What it will be for the technology implementation, but also bring your I will say your end user together to create this emulation, this envy of changing and going to this new tool that will technically help them to do a better job and focus more on something that is important to them. But it's slow, and for that you need to have someone who understands people, who understands user experience. So we are really customer-centric and not technology-centric, so making it very easy for them.
Yeah. And again, with the platforms that you're working with, is that change management piece something that you talk about with them? Like you, again, consult them and their customers through that?
Yeah. I think usually, it's developers who are pushing for their technologies to be MACH certified. In general, I think the piece we really push is helping the go-to-market teams understand like how you can expand your addressable market. It's like tying things back to revenue as well is like important for us to convince people of the value of becoming MACH certified. So I think like a lot of terminology is obviously not conducive to the non-technical folks becoming excited. Even like MACH, we don't even talk often about what it stands for, but the change management piece is super important because then you can get folks aligned, especially when you need the non-technical teams. They're obviously the ones serving the customers and helping them understand the technology, so it can't just be developers pushing for it.
Completely agree, and I think that ROI is something that we're going to see a lot more conversations around over the next 12 months to 18 months. And I think that's in that change management piece where different departments, different teams can get on board when they understand why that move is happening and the value, whether it's increasing revenue or saving money. That's where they can kind of understand why that shift is happening.
Indeed.
Right. It's a huge undertaking cost-wise.
And it's not only financial. Now there is also this environmental sustainability that is bringing to the table where people think about how can I actually use a new technology but also reduce my carbon footprint impact. This obviously is not the priority in many companies, but in the back end of their mind they do think about that. And when you look at, for instance, the digital asset management, a big part of the change that we implement in a company is like stop copying an image into your laptop, stop using a shared drive, because in the shared drive you will have a shared drive, she will have a shared drive, and you will just duplicate everything. So we intend to say, stop doing this, stop doing the bad practice, use one single tool, then you can create your variant, and you will see in the meantime, you know where the document is, the latest document that the company wants to produce. You will help your company to have a better efficiency, but also you help the environment at the same time because you are not duplicating anymore your way of working. So there is a lot of things that can be including into the ROI, not only the money. There is a lot of shadow activities that come on top of it.
Yeah, I think everybody thinks about that saving and the revenue driving things, but there are a lot of things around that could support that change and the benefits of that. That makes a lot of sense.
And also just to say that sometimes the ROI is not immediate. So then sometimes you may decide to invest, but the ROI will come in 18 months. So that means the efficiency savings of working will come immediately, but the financial side will come a little bit later.
And that ties back to that first question around vision and understanding that roadmap of this is why we're going and that ROI will come, but it's going to take time.
Yes.
That's the big piece. So we've talked about that vision and that change management, getting your company prepared. Is this for everybody? Is MACH just suitable for like enterprise companies, or is it mid-size? Can small businesses see the benefits of this? Do you mind kicking us off, Sarah?
Yeah, I think even to the last point, actually, I thought that was interesting. Like things like the ROI isn't like apparent really early. I feel like oftentimes people who implement MACH, for example, they're creating a more performance site, faster. Like people who are doing MACH are setting like a new standard, and then the rest of the market will slowly kind of recognize that they're behind. So it becomes table stakes to have like a certain site performance speed. So I think it's obviously relevant to everyone who wants to be competitive in their market. I think with like even smaller companies, it actually, the cost scales with your size, right? Like if you don't have a bunch of code debt, you can actually, and you're a like 1-person, 2-person engineering driven startup, it's very easy to just set up the right foundations. So in my opinion, it really, like larger orgs do have the resources to implement it, but it is a bigger lift to do it. So it scales pretty linearly.
From your experience, do you agree?
No, I've got a mixed view on this one. So the reason why is MACH solution. So I'm a true believer that MACH solution is a game changer in a mean that you can take the best of breed of each solution you need and build the solution that your company needs. So I mean, it can be really literally custom. But when you are an SMB, so I mean, especially when, for instance, being a startup, when you don't have a hell of a number of resources, so you don't have too much time to dedicate to actually build your solution, maintain it, and try to grow on it. So meaning that you need to have a certain side, a certain experience, because you still need your team that will be evolving the tool on a regular basis. So I will say it's more like medium-sized market to enterprise. SMB will depend exactly what kind of business they will run, and so it could be a hit and miss depending on the business.
Okay. If an organization, like irrelevant of size, if they want to kind of start, they want to try it out, do you think it's kind of like you have to be all in, you have to have that vision, that plan all in front, or is there a way to start small and test the waters and then grow over time?
If Sarah may give me the word, so I will say, personally, I like the start small and grow. Mm-hmm. The reason why is it's very easy. It could be very easy to implement a MACH solution and overshadow a lot of problems. So that means the big bang implementation, you can go for it, but then you may have to work on all the problem after, which will create frustration, the frustration that you want to avoid. But when you start small, you have time, so that means you reduce your time of deployment, you have time to understand if everything works around the modules that you just implemented, what kind of workaround you need to implement if something is not ready, because unfortunately you need to understand that you will have to bring other application into your solution. So maybe sometimes some small thing doesn't really work, not necessarily due to the MACH solution, but just because the other application is not yet ready to connect. So you need to be able to understand that and move it forward. And the only reason why I said start small and grow is because you learn, you got the workaround, and you never stop your project. When you go to the big bang, you stop everything, and then you deal with all the bugs at the time, which already frustrate every organization. So it makes your project a bit more difficult.
How do you feel, Sarah? Do you agree? Do you think starting small and then growing into it is the right approach, or do you totally disagree and go big bang?
Yeah. I mean, it is a mindset. It's like you kind of either have it or you don't. I'm speaking from the perspective of like a MACH compliant technology, and then as a former developer who built it. And like if you want to build for the cloud, if you want to build API first. You can't really just like take part of your code base and API-ify it. It really has to be a well thought out process, and like taking a look at the whole architecture. So I think the architecture of your code base as a technology platform is usually like you can't really pick out a piece, right? So I think you have to have a plan to do it like within a set amount of time. Also because code debt piles up if you don't do it. Like if say you do 10% and turn it into an API, like kind of shift to the cloud, you might not get to it for another year, and then your organization changes. I think people changes are pretty underrated because usually there has to be like a champion pushing for this. Once you lose like the steam and the inertia, like it can really easily go to the wayside.
So I just want to touch on something that you touched on there, that there needs to be a champion. within an organization really leading to. We think of it like a Trojan horse. Like there needs to be your internal kind of champion to push what you're looking to do and where you're looking to take them. How do you, I guess thinking about your customers, how do you support that internal champion to help with that change management, that adoption of Mac? How do you kind of help them be the voice of that philosophy and bring them along for the journey?
So I will say it's not something you can teach people. You need to have a mindset. When you get to this kind of change, you know that you will feel, so you will meet some hurdles. So nothing is, it's technology. So it means nothing is written in marble. It's not because you said, like Sarah mentioned, you've got a line of code and you want to extract it. It will work for you. It may not work for me. So, and also because there is so many other factors around, the person that will lead the project need to build a team that also have this mindset of being positive. So that means some people who can actually think outside the box. So that means bringing something different when the problem arises, and not feel about, oh gosh, we did this solution and then stop thinking and said, why we did that? We had the other solution, was not working, but it was fine. We didn't have any noise. No, you need this person who will bring the company forward, will bring everybody behind, and also will build a team that will actually help him to achieve the decision. And on our side, it's pretty easy. We want them to implement a solution that will be successful. So what we will do, we'll bring any single step to say, okay, what can we do to help you? Okay, we understand that the pain point is here. Here's the workaround we suggest you. And we will actually bring solutions that they can actually explore and decide which one is the best fit for their organization. So it's literally a teamwork. Mm-hmm. It's not just one person. It's so it's one person leading with a team, and we as supplier or partners, because I see more ourselves as a partner into a project. We bring them solution to get their to get the project to the endpoint, which is success and strong delivery. Because we look for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, 10 years partnership. We don't look at a 12-month contract and then move on.
Makes a lot of sense. Sarah, just thinking about some of your customers, how are you supporting them with that adoption and that education piece?
Yeah, I'll step back and kind of re-explain what Alloy does. We have a platform that allows SaaS companies to embed integrations with our infrastructure and SDK. So we essentially, like as a SaaS company, everyone's building integrations. It's table stakes for merchants, but everyone's repeating the same work. So we have an SDK with 250 integrations that we support, and a SaaS company can just embed that and then support all sorts of ERPs, platforms, marketing solutions, all of that. And so for us, usually the champion is a PM at a SaaS company who's like, this tool will allow us to extend our platform's capabilities by connecting with other apps. Because if you're a 3PL, like logistics platform, you might be interested in connecting with the world of customer support platforms so you can really support all sorts of automated ticketing workflows. So for us, the PM, they have to get buy-in from engineers, which is easier for us. These engineers are interested in APIs, but then also the sales and CS team really need to understand the value of this embedded integrations platform. So we often create collateral that helps, helps the sales and CS team understand like the urgency of building integrations and why the technologies they work with must be API, like open API, for us to then be able to connect them together. So, I mean, there's a lot of ERPs and 3PLs who are obviously not in that API first world. So we're really pushing the ecosystem to open up, even if it's SOAP APIs, REST APIs. Like not everyone is on GraphQL yet, but that's essentially how we do it: is get the customer-facing folks like feeling the urgency to then support the main champion, which is the PM.
Perfect. So the big reason I think the MACH Alliance is doing the US Roadshow is to help build awareness, not only around MACH and its members, but just the philosophy and the adoption for this change. And I think in Europe, and Francois, I know you're based in London, it's more progressed, and there's more organizations that are open to adopting MACH. How do you think North American companies can go about learning more about this space and getting involved?
It's a difficult question, to be honest. Because so the thing about Europe is the ecosystem is very wild. So I mean, we have different culture, different way of seeing how to work and deliver efficiency. When in America, it's been more settled for many, many years, driven by the GAFA most of the time. So when it comes to the MACH and you see all the European company coming across with very nice technology, system integration that is made easy, a lot of connector, I believe that the American company will adopt it very easily because they are I would say, it's common for them to do change. It's common for them to adopt technology, to change a little bit. Although yes, sometimes you will make a little bit of time depending on the size of the company, but they will get there. And they will, so if they see the efficiency, and we'll get back to the ROI, they will adopt it very quickly. So, for instance, the way that we at Scaleflex bring our solution to the market is we did it in 3 different ways. We said, okay, start with, so if you don't want to start with the API immediately, start with a hub, meaning that the marketer who have no knowledge whatsoever about development can actually start using the tool. Then you got technology teams that are a bit acute, marketing, they know. So we said, use the widget, because you can still do it. And then we get to the development team and we do the big project where we do all the integration and move to all the ecosystem and bring things. So there is different way to bring the product. We have our way. Some company will do another one. But the idea is to find a way that fit the most the company, and they will adopt it. And this is what we like with America, because they can move, they can shift very quickly to a product to another if they see the efficiency.
And I know with your organization, you're working with SaaS companies. Are you seeing that adoption in North America, that there's that want and desire to bring this on?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it sounds like what we're doing is driving FOMO. I think if you're not MACH compliant and in this space, you're missing out on a lot of like connections to other tech platforms and companies. And yeah, I think especially when it comes to Europe's adoption and America kind of being slightly behind from your perspective, like Americans are very competitive. So if you can get them to feel that FOMO, it's certainly get a lot more people involved.
But there's also one point that is very important is what's happened with the MACH system is so, and we as Scaleflex seeing more and more on the recent, I will say, weeks and months is there's a huge variety of company with different system, different application. But the good thing about it is we start talking about partnership among ourselves and start connecting. So meaning that we can actually go to a customer and talk about a service offering in which we said, hey, I know that you're working with this company, but you know that I can connect with them. And then we make it easy for them to look at us as a future partner, because they understand that part of our organization or systems that are in place can actually start integrating with them very easily. So we do this connection and we grow also that way, because sometimes those partners are the ones that introduce us. So this is how the adoption will come to the market, I believe, because it will be more benefiting from the success of others on a regular basis and vice versa.
You touch on a great point around partners and sort of in my organization at Apply Digital, we're a digital consultancy. We can't do it. Like we can't do it all. Like we can't work with an enterprise company to solve their problem. So we actively partner with different organizations to solve a specific problem, and that's where I think MACH is really strong. Our competitors are actually kind of like our friends as well. And do you find that you can see a competitor, but that there's value in staying close and collaborating?
Yeah, I think there's, obviously, even amongst competitors, there's features you probably don't have. Like often, you play in different segments of the market. So even for us, like we have competitors, or for us, customers, because they don't support one very specific thing, or they're not like commerce verticalized like us. But yeah, generally, I think there is some value to that.
And like when you're thinking about working with bigger organizations, do you try and help that customer fill in the gaps with partners that you're working with?
We do. That means when the customer is asking the question and we have partners that we've been in discussion with, we don't mind to do the recommendation. At the end of the day, it's still the choice of the company to decide if they want to work with, but we just do the introduction and just let the partner doing his own business. But they know that if we recommend them, it's because we know them, we know what they do, we know their work, we know the quality of the product as well. So that means there is a lot of good elements that we bring to the table that actually help the customer to have a better solution at the end for his customization. So it's a win-win situation. It doesn't bring me anything in terms of financial impact, but for the customer, it just brings a kind of a peace. And then said, okay, now I can actually go a bit further in adopting MACH into my environment or ecosystem. So it's a good thing. It's a very good thing.
Okay, we've touched on a lot, and we're coming to the end of our time together. And I just wanted to give a chance for somebody watching or somebody looking interested in this space, some little takeaways that they can do next to start looking into this. I guess, what would be your top 3 things you would recommend to a customer interested in this space to, what's the starting point? What are the 3 areas they can touch on and then kind of go from there?
Yeah, so speaking to technology providers, I'd say first would be getting the engineers thinking about how to turn your platform into a more API first version of it. So obviously, 1, focus on the APIs. 2, probably think the go-to-market team should think about what's your wish list of partners you want to integrate with once you're there. So that then leads to 3, creating that sort of ROI justification, because you can then tie back those API changes to that list of partners who will then unlock revenue for you.
Perfect.
So for me, it will be understand your monolith ecosystem. So first of all, you need to really understand which solution you are using and which are the pain points that you want to fix. Which kind of ROI you want to deliver, what are the efficiency, where you want to drive the business forward. And then the last one will be adventurous, because at the end of the day, you really need to take the decision to do something that nobody really want to do. So that means doing change. So, and this, you need to be strong-minded at some stage. And that's it's a mindset that not everybody have. So go for the adventure. It's only fun.
But they're not on their own. There's an ecosystem of partners that are going to be supporting them with that vision and helping them frame that plan and help them guide the rest of their organization along that journey as well.
Indeed. And this is, as I said, this is all, so going to MACH is all fun. You just need to know where you want to go.
So tying it back to that vision, understanding that change management piece, and just being brave is the key takeaways.
Especially if you're used to use, I will say, monolith applications that are all in one and tell you that if you use this, you can do everything correctly. It's not true. There is not a single solution that fits all. So there is the Big Bang theory is not the right way to work. So that means it's a little bit of everything. MACH is the solution for what you need for tomorrow.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time this morning. I know it's early, so it's been fascinating to hear some of the things that you're working on and talking about change management. But those 3 key takeaways, having that vision, understanding that change management, and being brave, I think are 3 things people can take away and really enjoy going into MACH. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Sarah.